The Haunted Lighthouse. A cold wind whipped through Alex's hair as he climbed the craggy clifftop path. In the distance, the abandoned lighthouse creaked and groaned, a towering silhouette against the darkening twilight sky. The locals whispered that the old lighthouse was cursed, haunted by the ghosts of those who had perished there. But Alex didn't believe in ghosts. Not yet, anyway. The 15-year-old had recently moved to the remote coastal town after the sudden death of his father. He found the townspeople's hushed tales of the lighthouse intriguing. According to legend, Old Man Hendricks, the last lighthouse keeper, had gone mad there decades ago after his wife tragically died during a fierce storm. Alex aimed to explore the decrepit lighthouse and debunk the silly superstitions surrounding it once and for all. As he approached the weathered wooden door of the lighthouse, Alex felt a prickle on the back of his neck, as if unseen eyes were watching him from the darkened windows above. The door creaked loudly on rusted hinges as he pushed it open. Cobwebs draped the corners inside, and a thick layer of dust blanketed the cracked floorboards. Undaunted, Alex switched on his flashlight and swept it around the ground floor rooms. The beam cut through the gloomy interior, illuminating debris and trash strewn about, but nothing he would categorize as supernatural or unusual. Cautiously, Alex moved deeper inside the lighthouse, testing each groaning step as he ascended the spiral staircase. The steps ended at a ladder leading up to the lamp room. Alex peered up at the giant crystal lens encased in grime. As a child, he had always loved reading about lighthouses, and imagined what it would be like in the lamp room looking out over the open sea. Now at the threshold of realizing that childhood dream, he felt an unexpected twinge of sadness, remembering how his father had nurtured his fascination with lighthouses. But Alex quickly shook off the memories and focused on the task at hand. Hoisting himself up into the cramped lamp room, he aimed his flashlight through the filthy glass. The beam illuminated the sheer cliffs and churning ocean below. As Alex turned to continue his search, a sudden flash of light in his peripheral vision made him flinch. Whipping around, his heart pounding, he frantically shone his flashlight around the small space. The light had no source. It was gone as quickly as it had appeared. Just nerves and tricks of the shifting light, Alex told himself firmly, though his hands shook slightly as he descended back down the ladder. The ground floor rooms offered no further clues, just dirt, scattered papers, and decay continuing to gradually reclaim the abandoned building. But an old cabinet tucked in the corner of the kitchen caught Alex's attention. It seemed newer than the other decrepit furnishings. He knelt down and examined the lock, then took out his set of lockpicks. After a few moments of jiggling, the stubborn lock sprung open with a satisfying click. Inside the cabinet lay a single item, a leather-bound logbook. Alex gingerly picked it up and blew off the thick layer of dust covering it. He opened it to a random page near the middle, and his eyes widened in surprise. The top of the yellowed page was dated with today's year, albeit decades ago. The hairs on the back of his neck prickled. How could the logbook be coincidentally open to today's date so many years later? Alex quickly flipped through the fragile, handwritten pages. At first, the logbook contained mundane maintenance notes about weather and lighthouse repairs. But gradually, the handwriting became more erratic, the entries strange and disturbing. By the end, the keeper's log had devolved into a crazed scrawl, repeating, "The light calls me from the darkness," over and over. Alex slammed the book shut, his hands trembling slightly. Old Man Hendricks had clearly gone mad here those many years ago. Alex shoved down a rising unease. There had to be some rational, scientific explanation behind the disturbing log entries. A loud, sudden crash from the cellar below jolted Alex from his spiraling thoughts. He crept cautiously over to the stone steps leading down into the shadows. "Hello? Is anyone there?" His voice echoed met only silence. Must have been some shifting debris or small nocturnal animal, Alex told himself. Still, he pocketed the logbook and hurried from the lighthouse, the atmosphere now ominous. Safely back in his bedroom, Alex pored over the lighthouse logbook long into the night, seeking some elusive clue or meaning behind the bizarre entries. But he found only incoherent ramblings and cryptic metaphors. One recurring phrase in particular troubled Alex. "The light in the darkness calls to me." Puzzled, Alex glanced up at the old navigation compass sitting on his desk. The needle still pointed north as always. yet Alex couldn't shake a growing sense of foreboding. In the following weeks, Alex found himself increasingly drawn back to the lighthouse again and again, compelled by curiosity about the logbook entries and their true meaning. The locals began whispering that the formerly affable boy seemed changed somehow, distracted, introverted, obsessed even. But Alex ignored their warning glances and superstitious mutterings. There had to be some logical, rational explanation behind it all. He only needed to dig deeper to uncover the truth. One moonless night, emboldened by desperation for answers, Alex crept back up the spiral stairs, this time with an eerie certainty that he was on the cusp of a breakthrough. As he entered the lamp room, the air itself seemed charged, prickling his skin. Alex froze. A faint but undeniable bluish glow had begun swirling in the center of the room. Before his disbelieving eyes, the glow slowly coalesced into a humanoid form, blurry around the edges, but distinctly human in shape. Paralyzed by equal parts fear and awe, Alex could only watch as the apparition solidified into the transparent form of an elderly man in a lighthouse keeper's coat. A ghost. Alex's scientific, rational foundation shuddered in that moment. The specter's sunken eyes looked upon Alex with a profound melancholy. When it spoke, its voice was distant yet piercing, reverberating inside his mind. You should not have pried into what is best left forgotten. No good will come of your curiosity. Alex tremulously found his voice. Whoa, who? What are you? I was once the keeper of this lighthouse, the spirit sighed mournfully. But in life I discovered something here, something unnatural. It drove me to madness, just as it now drives you, child. Alex took an unsteady step backwards, grasping for logic and reason. No, you're not real, just an illusion. Ghosts don't exist. The ghost gazed at him pityingly. If only that were true. Please, escape this place now before your curiosity fully consumes you. With those final foreboding words, the apparition slowly faded away, leaving Alex shaken to his core. Back at home, Alex became obsessed, manically researching the lighthouse's history for clues about the spirit's identity and warnings. Digging through newspaper archives, he discovered a tragedy. The wreck of the merchant ship Raven's Wing just offshore decades ago. Though survivors spoke of it being drawn off course during a fierce storm, its valuable cargo was never recovered. Puzzle pieces clicked into place in Alex's mind. That shipwreck must have been carrying some cursed artifact that ended up in the lighthouse. Something unnatural that drove Old Man Hendricks mad. Consumed by the mystery, Alex dove deeper down the rabbit hole, ceaselessly hunting evidence of the lost artifact. He delved through dusty maritime records, floor plans, and explorers' tales. Anything that could provide clues about the doomed ship's precious cargo and where it may have ended up. Meanwhile, ghostly occurrences continued to plague the lighthouse at all hours. Strange lights, chilling noises, phantom wailing. Though rattled, Alex pressed stubbornly on in his pursuit of the truth. He had to know what malevolent force lurked within those walls. Late one moonless night, unable to resist the lighthouse's siren call, Alex found himself creeping through its dark grounds toward the decaying cellar doors. The air seemed charged, crackling with static energy as if a storm brewed. The hairs on the back of Alex's neck prickled as he descended the crumbling concrete steps. Just then, the temperature dropped sharply, his breath fogging before him. Along the far wall, obscured by debris, Alex detected shards of wood planks forming the shape of a small door. Pushing aside rotted boxes revealed it fully. His heart raced. Whatever dark artifact lay hidden here, he was on the brink of uncovering it. With trembling fingers, Alex broke the door's rusted latch. The warped wood swung open with an ominous creak. A narrow room lay beyond, bare except for a few aged chests, strange celestial navigation tools and maps glinting sinisterly in the darkness. But it was the pendant hanging alone on the far wall that called to Alex, pulsating with mesmerizing energy. Compelled by an inexplicable urge, he slowly crossed the room and lifted it from the hook on which it hung. The moment he touched it, a blood-curdling scream erupted from below as skeletal hands burst up through the dirt floor. Alex cried out and leapt back, the pendant falling from his grasp. Maniacal laughter echoed around him as more bony hands began groping and grasping from the ground at his feet. The skull of a decayed corpse peered up through the dirt, jaws unhinged in an anguished scream. Alex's mind raced. This had to be part of the cursed wreckage from the Raven's wing. He had to return the pendant to the sea to break its evil curse. Snatching up the pendant, Alex bolted from the room, pursued by shrieks and grasping hands. He burst outside into the raging storm and sprinted for the cliff's edge, the doors slamming violently shut behind him. Below, waves smashed angrily against the jagged rocks. Heart pounding madly, Alex extended his arm over the precipice, pendant swaying in the howling wind. Just then, the lighthouse doors flew open with a bang. Framed within stood the ghost of Old Man Hendricks, surrounded by dozens of swirling, shrieking phantoms. One final look of understanding passed between boy and ghost. Alex opened his fist. The pendant plummeted into the churning ocean below. A tremendous shriek shook the lighthouse, and the ghosts vanished in an instant as if they had never been. Finally, it was over. Alex fell to his knees in exhausted relief, the storm fading to silence around him. But as he shakily turned from the cliff's edge, a tremendous gust of wind suddenly struck him squarely in the chest, sending him toppling backward over the rocks toward the crashing sea below. The ghost of the lighthouse keeper reached out helplessly, trying in vain to catch the boy's sleeve as Alex plunged into the dark, icy depths. At dawn, two sightseers discovered the splintered lighthouse doors flung wide open. Inside, the secret chamber lay in ruins, its cursed artifacts and maps scattered wildly about. Despite an extensive search, Alex was never seen again, seemingly claimed by the vengeful sea just as so many before. Some say that if you stand at the lighthouse on certain stormy nights, you can still hear faint screams and echoing maniacal laughter riding the wind. And sometimes, silhouetted in the lantern room window, the shadow of a young boy gazes out to sea, looking lost. Two tortured souls now haunt that accursed lighthouse. One warning, the other eternally searching for answers tragically lost to the waves. For the sea does not easily relinquish its prey.